certainly qualify the differences between government-sanctioned incidents and those anti-Muslim activities that can be attributed to marginal segments of non-Muslim societies. However, we believe that religious tolerance, negative stereotyping, racial profiling, and discrimination towards this institution's mission for peace and prosperity among all societies. Therefore, we must intensify our efforts to promote a culture of tolerance and understanding and continue an effective dialogue to expand the scope of rational discourse between the Islamic world and other civilizations. Mr. President, some of the gravest threats facing humanity today do not occupy their rightful places in the headlines, nor do they gain the significant attention they require. We believe that climate change is such a threat. For the Maldives, the effects of global warming pose an overwhelming threat to our infrastructure, economy, and our very existence. In an attempt to implement adaptation measures, the Maldives has invested in water and sanitation projects, coastal defenses, and is attempting to develop voluntary resettlement programs to more viable islands within the country. We are also investing in a low-carbon future that emphasizes renewable energy and other green projects to achieve our goal of becoming carbon neutral by 2020. It's obvious that our actions alone cannot save us. The global community must act. Regional initiatives that complement UNFCCC processes must be pursued. Weeks before Copenhagen, the Maldives convened a group of countries and formed the Climate Vulnerable Forum to declare our concerns with a united voice. I am pleased to report today that Kiribati will take over the leadership of this group ahead of COP16 in Cancun this year, and Bangladesh will steer it to COP17 in South Africa next year. The Asian region is one of the most vulnerable to climate change. We recognize that failure to extend emissions targets beyond 2012 leaves 60% of the world's population without durable solutions for the global warming effects already being felt. Threats to food and water security for the world's most susceptible populations will undoubtedly perpetuate disease, exacerbate conflicts, and threaten to erode decades of hard-won successes achieved by countries throughout the region. While we have high hopes for the ensuing COP16, 17, and 18 talks, we believe alternative solutions that harmonize the development needs of industrialized states with the human and economic rights of vulnerable peoples should exist. Therefore, the people of the Maldives and Timor-Leste call for an Asian initiative that forges a consortium of Asian countries and regional partnerships. This will aim to enable our region to aid the world's most vulnerable states. Mr. President, the Maldives believes that it is time to let go of the mistrust and blame that has plagued the UNFCCC process. We welcome the recent voluntary initiative by India to curb its emissions and its commitment to promote green energy without waiting for others to follow suit. We call upon all nations, large and small, to come together in a cooperative spirit in Cancun so that we may effectively establish and promote mitigation activities that restore our native carbon sinks, increase energy efficiency, reduce emissions, and preserve our ecosystems. Mr. President, the Maldives would also like to state its support of the G4 position for reform of the Security Council. We believe that an expansion of permanent membership to reflect the realities of our contemporary international system will improve representation in the Council and better serve in addressing a panoply of concerns facing nations in all 5 regions today. Mr. President, the Maldives also continues to grapple with traditional security threats. The scourge of terrorism and the growing menace of piracy threaten national, economic, and maritime security throughout our region and around the world. Yet deficits in the capacity to attribute criminal accountability to the perpetrators of terrorism persist. Our failure is marked by the advancements in the modus operandi of terrorists, the proliferation of illegal technology transfer, and the surge in the trade of illicit weapons. The Maldives cannot stress enough the importance of disassembly to finalize the draft Convention on Terrorism. Our geographical location in the Indian Ocean makes the Maldives particularly vulnerable to threats to its maritime security, as our vast open waters continue to prove difficult to police. We are deeply concerned with the surge in piracy that has moved beyond the Gulf of Aden into the Indian Ocean. If the international community does not increase its efforts, Mr. President, we fear that piracy may end up turning into an uncontrolled threat to security in the region. Thus, we are particularly encouraged by the UN Security Council Resolution 1897 and pleased with the work of the Contact Group on Piracy off the coast of Somalia. We feel, however, that it is important for the group to urgently establish an easily accessible legal toolkit for states that enables them to overcome the vacuums in their national legal systems and address piracy in a comprehensive manner. Mr. President, the continued suffering of the Palestinian people deeply saddens the Maldives. They have been denied their right to self-determination and their right to live in peace and freedom in their own independent state for far too long. While recognizing the rights of the Palestinians, we also appreciate and support the right of the people of Israel to live in peace and security alongside an independent and sovereign state of Palestine. We continue our call for all sides to use the ongoing peace talks as an opportunity to resolve their differences, and are therefore heartened by the new initiatives being pursued by the United States in its pursuit of a Middle East peace treaty. Furthermore, we call for continued support for the governments of Jordan and Egypt in their work on the Arab Initiative, which we believe may provide an enduring solution to the conflict for the people of this region. Additionally, our pursuit for a more secure and just world and our respect for international law was the basis for the Maldives' recognition of the independence of Kosovo, declared on 17 February 2008. The Maldives believes that the declaration of independence by the people of Kosovo reflects a last resort remedy that embodies the best prospects for peace and stability in the region. Maldives also welcomes the advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice on 22nd of July 2010 that the declaration of independence of Kosovo did not violate international law. While we are disappointed by recent efforts to reverse this judgment, the Maldives welcomes an alternative solution contained in the unanimously adopted EU-sponsored resolution as a positive step towards Kosovo's assumption of full UN membership. Mr. President, closer to home, the Maldives has borne witness to advancements in democracy, sustainable development, and peace building throughout the SAARC region. Notably, we praise the progress made by the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, including the development of democratic institutions, as well as improvements in the areas of health, education, and the status of women. We wish them continued success in their efforts to rebuild their long-suffering nation and implore the international community to maintain their support of the Afghan people. Furthermore, the Maldives welcomes Sri Lanka's success in their ongoing consolidation of peace and democracy, and we call upon the international community to support them in their reconciliation efforts, as well as in their efforts to rebuild a nation torn from 25 years of sustained conflict. Mr. President, we are a small nation with big dreams. Our dreams are rooted in the vision of the Charter that binds the membership of this Assembly together here today. Our hopes are inextricably linked to fears of the past that inspired this body and to the hopes of those that dream of a future grounded in justice, equity, opportunity, and peace for peoples of the North and South in nations large and small. Our humanity defines our obstacles, Mr. President, but we believe that our dreams for a better future defy our limitations. Thank you.
Au nom de la